All
It
I'm saying
peaked.
is no holes, no Holocaust. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, no, now we're recording.
I hope you got that. Apologies to all my Jewish friends, of which there are three. Um,
So hello, welcome again to the Waffle Press Movie Podcast. These openings, we gotta fix them because they're disasters.
I'm
But
just speaking truth to power.
God, Jesus. But speaking of disasters, let's just dive right into Alien Resurrection.
Ellen Ripley died trying to wipe the species out. I'm not anxious to see her taking up her old hobby.
I can feel it. I can hear it moving.
So hey, you ran into these things before.
Yeah,
What did you do?
I died.
Matt, you have no feelings about this movie. None.
Um, I words. I cannot form the words for how much of a painful experience it was revisiting Alien Resurrection. I mean, I didn't expect that. Oh, my cat's coming over, so you might hear him.
That's okay. Oh, and I want to say a quick thank you and shout out to everyone who watched and responded to the Alien 3 video because that one took a while for reasons.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you. That was cool. And back to Alien Resurrection, which is the official last entry in the franchise until
Until like 3 weeks from now.
yeah, until then. It was written by Joss Whedon, who has obviously gone on to do lots of big things, and at the time, I think was prepping for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV series. Up to this point, he'd just done like Toy Story, a couple things here and there. I don't think he'd written Titan AE or Atlantis yet, but I know.
Well, yeah, those definitely weren't out yet. I don't know if the scripts were done, but those came much later.
Yeah.
Um,
And as for the actual script itself, given Joss Whedon's little Whedonisms and his like quirks and his weird fascination with off-kilter comedy and characters, I could see this maybe not being a great Alien movie, but being a fun Joss Whedon movie if he had directed it. But it's not at all.
I don't know, man. Maybe a fun movie, maybe. That's a big maybe. Because the final product is so far away from fucking fun. It's hard to imagine it being good in any way. Just because it gets so, yeah, maybe he would have handled everything better, but it just gets so boring after a while. And like the characterization is just awful, but it's hard to tell if it's just the director not understanding Joss's script or if it was just maybe, Joss was a younger screenwriter at the time, maybe he hadn't perfected some of his skills. So, I don't know.
Well, I think there are definitely issues with the script and the story as a whole, but it's a bundle of fuck because Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who is one of my favorite directors, he didn't speak English when he made this movie.
Okay,
And,
that explains a lot.
Yeah, and he's gone on record as saying like he was interviewed about Amelie recently again, and he was talking about his experience in Hollywood and how there was a lot of like misquotes and how he hated his time in Hollywood. And he's like, no, if I want to do a movie in Hollywood, I'll go do another movie in Hollywood. But I don't want even when he made Alien Resurrection, he said
Hollywood called me to make Alien Resurrection, and I didn't want to make Alien Resurrection. I wanted to make Amelie.
And some people were like, no, you got to do Alien to get the approval for Amelie. And he was like, well, okay. And so I think about that phrase a lot when I watch Alien Resurrection. I don't want to make Alien Resurrection because you kind of feel that in the movie. That it's like it's just an empty like experience.
Yeah.
And even like the parts that are so bad, like I kind of love them. It doesn't carry through the whole thing. Like it's not consistent, trashy bad to be like I don't know, like a glorious B movie. Instead, I it's one of my favorite bad movies, but it's not something I could recommend wholeheartedly to everyone. Like it's not a Mystery Science Theater movie even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I will never watch this film again.
That's totally fine.
This will never be revisited. And a big part of it is that you get the sense, like, and your quotes from the director, he's a blind spot. I don't really know a ton of his work.
Oh, he's great. You got to check out his stuff eventually.
I'm taking your word for it because this is like all I have to go on. But your quotes make sense. But I did get the sense of a skilled director who didn't understand not just like the franchise he was working in, which doesn't really matter, but more he doesn't understand the genre. Like there's a lot of long shots of like when they cut the like very early on when they cut the alien egg out of the clone of Ripley, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a very simple, like, here's them cutting it, and you get the sense the director was feeling like, oh yeah, this is disturbing, but really it's not. It's just kind of awkward. You're just kind of watching it being like, yeah, hey, I guess they're cutting it out of her. And you don't get like a sense of like disgust or pain or just, there's like nothing unsettling about it where you're like, oh, like it just kind of happens. And that's how and every alien in this movie is shot that way. Where it's just like, oh, there's the alien. Look at him go. And like there's nothing intimidating about him. There's no like it's just like full on, you just see all of it all the time, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the sense the director thought what he was filming was frightening, but he just didn't get it, really.
Yeah.
At least that's how I felt watching a lot of it.
No, I think the language barrier totally didn't help. And I had brought this up recently also, that Whedon's writing, when he's not there or someone that he continuously works with isn't there to guide the actors, it's a mess. It's a very fine balance that you have to achieve between drama and comedy with him. And obviously he can go overboard sometimes himself, but something like this that's so weird. And I'm
just saying the end product is a Gordian knot of bad acting just across the board.
Oh, it's so bad. And Winona Ryder was really popular at this time too, and this didn't help her. And
she's might be the worst in it, which is saying something. And I mean, you get great character actors in it. Like Dan Hedaya shows up for a little bit, and he's the guy who holds a bit of his brain after the alien bites into it.
Oh, it's so fucking stupid. I love it.
And he might be the best actor in the movie, honestly. But like, you get the guy who played the Dane from Miller's Crossing, one like bad scientist. I didn't know anyone's role. I was very confused watching the movie. Like Brad Dourif and all these, like, you got the guy who played Tuco on Breaking Bad, and it's just awful. It's just terrible. They're all in different movies. It's so bizarre.
And this is the proto Firefly for the Betty is the Serenity. What's his Ron Perlman is like the prototype for Jane eventually, and like it's all there. It's just it's so weird to see it in this story.
I guess, but I don't know. I don't like that idea because it's so far from like Serenity, which is one of the most well-crafted sci-fi movies of like the last decade. And then this is shit. It's all shit.
What do you think about the production design?
I have one of my notes here. It says some impressive miniatures. Because there's a scene. I'm pretty sure it was miniatures when one of the ships was docking. And I was like, oh, it looked really good. That's all I got.
I think the director captures like a nice depth of feel. There's clearly a big input on production. Like he's always like really good. Like kind of like Gore Verbinski, who like crafts like these really gorgeous production designs, and maybe if their movies aren't like always hitting the mark, you can always like kind of be like, "Ooh, this looks great." I feel like I'm watching a movie. Alien Resurrection is kind of ugly though. Like
Yeah.
it's like nasty and grimy, and
It
not
wasn't.
not like
It
in
was.
the way Alien 3 does.
Mhm.
Yeah, where it's like intentional. It just feels like cheap almost.
It wasn't pleasant to look at any
No,
time.
no.
It was very Batman v Superman in that regard. But
The director like kind of leans into a lot of like steampunk style with his other movies from the 90s, and this one's kind of like that too, but in the future.
oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I don't know. None of the production design really like screamed anything interesting to me. Like they felt like sets, you know, where you're like, here's the set for this scene, here's the set for that scene. It didn't feel like anything was like a working room. Like there was no logic to it other than the logic of the scene.
Yeah.
Like
Well-
here's a scene where they have to climb really high, so the set is built for them to climb really high. What is this room? Who fucking cares? They gotta climb.
Oh no, I totally get that in the climbing scene because like
Mhm.
they're talking about having to find like an old elevator shaft or something like that, but
Mm.
there's no elevator. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't look like an elevator shaft.
Yes,
Even like,
it
the
looks-
futuristic stuff.
This might be a good time for you to check in on the poll you did.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
So I ran a poll because Matt, you brought up Deep Blue Sea last
Yes.
night, right? At the time of this recording last night,
Mm.
and then I decided to compare and contrast Alien Resurrection versus Deep Blue Sea. Just which one? Just choose. And 31% said Alien Resurrection. 69% nice Deep Blue Sea.
Nice. We got the 69%. All right.
So you were saying you thought of Deep Blue Sea while watching Alien
It
Resurrection.
was shockingly like Deep Blue Sea. Like it was like holy shit, because like especially that climbing scene. I'm like that climbing scene is straight out of Deep Blue Sea, where they have to climb an elevator shaft in that movie. The only thing that isn't in Alien Resurrection is there's no cook played by LL Cool J.
Oh, that would have made
And-
this movie the best.
It would have been amazing if there's this cook who clearly was only meant to have 3 scenes, but then because everyone on set kept liking him, they just kept adding scenes until he took over the fucking movie. I mean, it's just, oh my, it's weird because all the sets look a lot like the whole facility looks a lot like it, and there's all the same stuff of like, you know, in Deep Blue Sea they did all this genetic shit to the sharks, which made them smarter somehow in an attempt to cure Alzheimer's, and then they're talking about, well, we bred these aliens because we're going to use them to cure disease, even though they never make any strides to do that. Like at least in Deep Blue Sea, they actually took like some extracts from the fucking shark brain. But it was just very similar, and it bugged me because I wish I was watching Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, I think most people agree because Deep Blue Sea got rated higher.
And I mean, at a certain point, this movie, Alien Resurrection, straight up becomes the Poseidon adventure, where it's like we have to get from here to here, and the place is falling apart, and it's just that's when the movie becomes just boring as shit. Once you're just stuck with these shitty characters. And they just got to get from point A to point B. And you know, like, every room they enter, one person will get taken out. And then you just keep moving. You just lose interest in everything that's happening.
And you don't care about anybody. Like, they're... Like, yeah, you brought up earlier, like, it's filled with, like, these great character actors, but even they can't really define who these people are. Like, you can't... They just have, like, one emotion, and they stick to it. And maybe even that's pushing it for some of these people.
Well, this is when I'm gonna make M. Night Shyamalan, when he's writing some of his worst movies, You'll notice that he gives a lot of characters like quirks, but doesn't like have it like he thinks that like a quirk in a character is enough to replace actual character development. And every one of these characters in this movie have some sort of quirk, but they have nothing that makes them feel real. Like they just have weird tics. And then you're like, well, he's the handicapped guy. He's the guy who likes guns. He's the angry guy. He's the soldier guy. She's the girl. And Sigourney Weaver is Sigourney Weaver, who doesn't look like she wants to be there, honestly. She looks like she's having some fun, but it also looks like they only had her for like a minimum number of days.
I think she had fun with the basketball scene, but that was like it.
Yeah.
Only because that's maybe the best scene in the franchise.
No.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No.
I don't want you to kill yourself on.
That was so awful.
Oh, it's
so
great.
Stupid.
It's the best.
Fucking and then Ron. This is the only movie that ever made me want to kill Ron Perlman because he's such an annoying asshole in this movie. And he's like walking over. He's like, I always like the tall ones. And he's like, you gotta play basketball or something. I don't. Why is she playing basketball? Why are they even allowed to meet Ripley? Why are they in that room? Like, they're a bunch of, like, fucking mercenaries. Like, don't you keep them in the mess hall until they refuel. You get the cargo, and then you're like, all right, fuck off. Like, why are they allowed to just wander and meet with this clone there's probably illegal shit happening here.
Well, let's just start diving right more into the plot mechanics, if we can.
Mm-hmm.
So I also want to bring up right off the bat, Weyland-Yutani is no more. I think it's the special edition that clarifies what happened with them. Are you familiar with this plot decision?
I'm not sure. Well, I'll just say I watched the theatrical cut, and they make a reference that Weyland-Yutani's no more, but they don't say why.
Ripley 8's former employers, Terran Growth Conglomerate.
Okay. In the
So-
special edition, they say,
Military. Or they went under decades ago. Get them in way before your time. Bought out by Walmart.
Fuck this movie. Fuck that movie. Fucking. Oh my god, really?
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Are you serious?
I swear.
That can't be real.
Google it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This movie is so miserable.
Like,
This is a worthless film. There's nothing, it's just a cinematic waste. Just, ugh. It's the Bataan Death March of movies.
Yeah, it goes there. And if you hear Whedon talk about it, like he brought it up at the Comic-Con the year before the Avengers was released.
Mm-hmm.
How
Was he like, I'm sorry?
how people were, from the gay community really were attracted to his characters and his writing, and characters like Tara and Buffy. And he brings up Call and Sigourney Weaver as Ripley in Alien Resurrection, where they're both not human and they're on the outlines. Like, he tried to do something about like identity in this movie.
I just wanted to say my sister and I love your show. So I was curious, what is your reaction to the queer community's absolute love of your show?
You didn't think I was going to bring up Alien Resurrection, but I am. That Alien Resurrection, its sole virtue for me was when I was writing it, discovering, the idea of clone Ripley and Robo Winona, kind of coming to terms with the idea of being considered less than human, despite the fact that they were both, powerful and beautiful. Thinking and internalizing that and feeling like an underclass of human being. And to me, I was like, this is a very powerful metaphor, in particular for the gay community, and for teenagers who are struggling with that. And ultimately, it's a metaphor for everybody who feels like an outsider. But that was my first thought. that was what made it.
And so, like, there's a
interesting.
lot of like ideas that could be presented, maybe not well, but there are good intentions in the original script. And so maybe like Weyland-Yutani being bought out by Walmart was like his capitalist dig. I don't know.
No, it was a joke. It was a fucking joke for the audience. Go, I've heard of Walmart.
Well,
Fucking
either way,
horseshit.
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Nothing works.
Nothing in this movie works, which is why
There's
it's
enough-
kind of the best.
There's enough ideas in this movie for like 3 different films. And they should have fucking picked one. Because, I mean, specifically, you could have, like, cut all the mercenary bullshit. That you didn't need any of that. It could have been a really great movie just set on that lab and dealing with the clone Ripley, you know?
Yeah.
Like just weird experiments and like just do something like really different. Like all these different like clone versions of the alien and maybe shit that's happening. And like just do like a really slow burn to then the aliens getting out and like the third act and everyone just dies. But no. They had to fucking have people act stupid.
Like, I really don't want to talk more about the plot because it's terrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't move very well. Like, things happen, sort of. Care about anything. I think they missed a big opportunity to go full on B movie. Like, they have all these Marines stationed on the station, and then when the aliens start breaking out because they're like smarter. See, again, another Deep Blue Sea tie.
Yep.
They break out of their little cells, and then they have all these guards, and they just run away. You could have like ripped off aliens. You could have just given us like, if you're gonna go like gory slasher schlock, like just go all out. Just show me a bunch of cool kills. But they didn't even do that. They kill them off screen, like through a window, and then they blow up.
Yeah, that was a fucking dumb scene.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all dumb.
Yeah. It's like literally every scene is worse than the next. There was one moment in the middle of the movie when I got happy. And it was when, what's her face? Winona Ryder is revealed to be an android. A robot. I think they just say robot. I don't even think they say android. Because I like robots in science fiction. And there's kind of some fun moments with like the prejudice of man being like, hey, robot, like kind of just poking fun at her. And then she's like all apprehensive about plugging into the ship's computer because she doesn't like how that feels. I thought that was kind of fun. And that was it. That was the only moment I kind of enjoyed myself.
Oh,
watching the movie.
Tuco from Breaking Bad, what's it called? Like an auton or something like that? I don't know. It's some science mumbo jumbo. Like, he's a robot designed by robots, but that doesn't actually mean it, because we never see that like in action.
Yeah, that for some reason that was like bad. Like something went wrong. Like they recalled him or something.
Yeah.
So hey,
there's all these like weird threads in this movie that don't mean anything.
Yeah, and then you could have like that totally could have led to like a fucking Blade Runner Alien crossover. That plot point, and it's just you don't look into it at all. Like, you could have done a lot.
Yeah, and back to our Alien 3 talk, you were saying how there was a lot of ideas about an Alien movie with the Blade Runner style, which doesn't really make sense because there's a whole bunch of can of worms there. But I think that's how you could do it right there.
Yeah,
with this character.
I mean, with this character. And maybe she's like, maybe there's a war between robots and, like, you know, these androids and humans, and the androids are losing. They think if they get the alien, because the alien, you know, won't affect them, because they're not biological.
Yeah.
So they just sick it on humanity. And you could have had, like, a commentary about, like, the nuclear arms race or terrorism or some shit. But nope. Just like, hey, she's a robot. All right, let's go. She's a robot because we can't get out of this movie unless we have a robot that can plug into the computer and do shit. Also, the name of the fucking AI that runs the facility is Father. Fuck you, movie.
Oh, what
Fucking
is your
bug.
issue with that?
Well, I mean, there's all this, like, this movie is chock full of fucking, like, imagery about, like, birth and mothers and, you know, all, like, there's, like, 6 shots of this movie of someone being wrapped up in something that could look like a womb.
Yeah.
I mean, and so the idea that, like, the facility is named Father and, like, Ripley's the mother and the fucking albino looking alien is the child, and it's just, like, you could probably dissect it. There may be some logic to it, but I just don't care. Maybe there's some really deep, interesting things going on. I just don't care.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't see a world where this is good unless, like, the current iteration of Joss Whedon had done it. And I think I don't know, the way it comes across as, like, stupid and idiotic.
Mm.
But, like, in some parallel universe where Whedon had the capability to do it himself, like, maybe it would be ambitiously stupid instead of just flounderingly stupid.
No,
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't think that the structure of this movie just doesn't work. It's very much just like, I think he was given a kind of mandate on what to do with the story. He's like, you got to find, like, they're like, you got to find a way to bring Ripley back. You got to have these elements, and we'll green light your screenplay. And I think he did it the best way he could, but it just doesn't matter.
I also heard stories about the Comic-Con before they released Resurrection, where they have, like, everyone, you know, in front of the crowd, and Whedon's just there, just, like, kind of his face in his hands, and just like, like, he knew.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, apparently he knew something was off already. And then, apart from the points I mentioned earlier, he doesn't shy away from his feelings towards the movie.
He doesn't reveal that on the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Really?
Yeah, although there's a little bit of, like, that weird, like, you know, like when you're watching interviews with actors on set and they're like, oh, we had so much fun. And, like, the movie is just shit. Like, it's just a way to hide that fact.
Yeah.
Look at the recent interviews with the cast of Power Rangers for that.
I liked Power Rangers.
Whedon, fuck you. Whedon is very much like, it's like, you know, the director's vision is not something I would have expected. Like, he says these things where he's like, you know, I think a shot would be done a certain way, but he comes up with these different takes that no one would expect. And it kind of comes across as a little passive-aggressive, like, the director didn't understand my screenplay.
And you know what? Yeah, maybe this was just a bad screenplay from the start, but that's totally, I think that's totally valid given, like, how the one line in X-Men that they kept, or I think there were 2. There was "You're a dick" from Wolverine, and then there's the infamous Toad struck by lightning line.
Yeah.
And that's terrible because it's played straight instead of like, smarmy. Like, I could imagine, like, Buffy saying that before, like, she beats a big bad in the season finale or something, you know, like, but it's, like, smarmy and, like, it's not supposed to be cool. It's supposed to be dorky and awkward. But it's all played straight, and it feels awkward.
Like I said, the screenplay, I don't think the structure of it works. Maybe Whedon, had he directed it or been put more in charge of it, or if Hollywood understood his writing, maybe it could have worked, but the direction on top of it is its own can of worms. Like, it's not like the problems with the direction is an extension of the poor screenplay. It's like they have all their own issues. So,
and it's just so interesting to me because, yeah, they got their own issues, but it also stems from them just not, like, the pieces aren't connecting properly. It's like you got 2 puzzle boxes and then you bunch them up together and it's like, oh, this is, like, I got this half right and this half right, but they're not connecting for whatever reason. And obviously the language barrier is a huge one. I want to go back to the father-mother thing because the newborn alien.
But hold on a second. Did we ever explain that the plot of this movie is that an alien science facility is cloning Ripley so they can get more alien eggs?
No, because it doesn't fucking matter.
All right, but there is the plot.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, and they clone her with like a little piece of blood that they found somehow in
Yeah,
Alien 3.
and she retains all her memories, which, as we all know, blood stores our memories.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I mean, whatever. Sometimes I don't know. I never know where to draw the line on bad science in movies. Because, sometimes there's like, you gotta let it go. But then there's like insulting your intelligence.
Like so I love Lucy. I think it is high tier schlock cinema because
Okay, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But all right.
because obviously like the 10% brain thing, like it's not real, and even like Luc Besson was like, yeah, it's not real. It's just a movie. But I can get why people get annoyed with that, and I get annoyed with the idea of that little drop of blood supposedly harboring all this DNA and just it really infuriates me.
Yeah. I mean, it's what happens when you don't understand how cloning works and you write cloning into your screenplay. So, like, you don't understand anything about cloning, but whatever. Ugh.
Okay, so the alien human hybrid, which is weird because xenomorphs are already hybrids, right?
So actually, it's an alien human hybrid, because Ripley is an alien human hybrid, right?
That's right. No, that's correct. Yeah.
So then the egg they get from her is
pregnant.
I don't know. This also, you kind of run into a problem that's just like, the mounting stuff that just stops making sense about the series, which is, because it's a queen alien that gives birth to this thing. Am I right? Is it a queen alien?
Yeah, it is. But it gives birth like a normal human would.
Yeah, but also, weird. That's weird. But what I'm saying is that, like, the original Alien in the first movie is very straight up an alien-human hybrid, right?
Yeah.
So when you introduce this, but then when James Cameron introduced the Queen Alien is a take off of the alien-human hybrid design, just bigger. So it's like a mounting kind of, stuff that, like, just a problem. Like, you can ignore it in Aliens because it doesn't really matter in that movie, but as things go on, it stops making sense.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a bit of an extension of that problem. But, hey, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that a little bit with Prometheus also, because there are
No, we got a lot going on with Prometheus.
Oh, fuck. I'm so excited. I don't know. I mean, Alien Resurrection is hard to talk about because it just doesn't... It's so fucking bad, but I
literally, I don't get how you can, because it's like, it's just boring to watch. Like, nothing is interesting on the screen. There's nothing fun about it. There's nothing awkwardly, like, funny about it. I mean, it's not like Battlefield Earth. But...
Need more Dutch angles.
Are just, like, really weird dialogue. Or just anything else. But this movie, it's literally... For one thing, this was the only chance they had to bring back Ripley.
They fucked it up.
Like, this is and honestly, I don't, other than it being a blood drop, I don't mind the idea of cloning Ripley to get the fucking alien egg. I don't mind that setup. I think that's a really interesting setup, and you could have probably made a better movie if you had just focused on that. But you can't just focus on that because you gotta have guns and you gotta have all this other shit from all the other fucking movies in there. And oh my god, the gunfights in this movie are atrocious. I mean, like, the horror, I mentioned, like, how the horror stuff never feels scary. It's just kind of like, oh, here comes an alien, blood, dead, all right. And then, but anytime anyone's firing guns, it's like just sparks. And the edits are on all the sparks. So it's like a spark cut, and then a different angle, then a spark cut. And then, you're like, what the fuck is happening? And then something's dead by the end of it.
I really like the underwater scene. like in a vacuum. I think that's a cool visual to have the aliens chasing after them underwater, and then it's like really fucking lame how they kill, like the I don't know, I don't even remember the character's name, but you don't see them like kill her. She just dragged away into the distance, off.
Mm-hmm.
No, not even out of frame, just like.
Oh my god, that shot is so awkward.
Yeah,
That
it's not
it's like
scary. It's not
it just
exciting.
it just grabs her leg and then like holds on it
Yeah,
and just slowly backs away. And then she's like, ah, and then
Yeah.
it's over. And you don't like. I'm like, well, did she die? Then that's the character who you also whose entire character development is that you get a close up of her ass,
yeah, that's
and then
fucking weird.
someone like kind of like not sucking on her feet, but is or like he's like rubbing his face on her feet.
Oh yeah, what's his face? The guy from The Crow.
Was that who that was? He was a terrible actor.
Yeah, I don't know. Michael Wincott, I think.
Yeah, he was fucking awful in this movie.
Well, does he even have like? He's got dialogue, but
his dialogue is like, "What's going on here?" And it's delivered so weird. And then he falls to the floor and dies.
Oh yeah, that's fucking stupid. The deaths aren't even like creative. I think that's what gets me.
Mm-hmm.
They should be like these fucking awesome B movie kills. Like the deaths in Alien 3 are really good.
Yeah,
Like, they're just slasher murders, splatter. Oh, it's so good. And here, he's dragged to the floor, gets dragged through the water. Someone falls in the water. Okay, no, the one cool kill is when the guy has a chest burster coming out of him, and he beats up the guy, the evil doctor guy from Miller's Crossing. What is it? What movie?
The Dane from Miller's Crossing.
Yeah, and then the chest burster bursts out through his chest and through the back of that guy's head. It's so stupid, but you know what? It's creative, and I didn't think of it.
It's somewhat creative, but the way it plays out,
it's like, fucking awful.
It's just awful to look at. And it's like they got that actor, because that's the dude, the guy who, I think that's the guy who, he's in Seven.
Yeah,
and the guy, and I think they must have got him just because of that scene in Seven, because they realized he was going to have to do some more stupid overacting in this movie when he fucking has the chest burster. And it's just all these awkward close-ups on his face, and he's like, ah.
Yeah, I don't remember the actor's name, but I like him whenever I see him. Just poor guy. Just, oh, what? You was an Alien franchise? Oh yeah, which one? Well,
I would deny that I was in it. I'd be too embarrassed to admit I was in that movie.
Oh, okay, no. The other kill I like is with the baby. That sounds really fucked up. The baby alien.
When I get sucked through the window?
Yeah, because, I mean, also plays out terribly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of a neat reversal of the first alien death in the first Alien.
And the alien death in Aliens.
In Aliens, yes. Which is the same one as Alien.
And later. I'm willing to put some money that we might see something very similar in Alien Covenant.
I don't want to see them sucked out of anything anymore, but you're probably right. Yeah, I mean, what else is there even to say about this movie?
Well, the one thing I like is that you could have made an entire fucking movie out of the alien human baby thing. Like, that's a movie. You could have done something with that.
Mm-hmm.
And instead it just shows up and is on screen for like 2 minutes and then just dies. Which is kind of hysterical.
Yeah. Oh, when it crushes Tuco's head? Like, that's nasty. Like, see? They're like little glimmers of like legitimate, gnarly making. But they don't stay very long. I mean, the whole movie is a bunch of interesting possibilities or really stupid fucking possibilities. And it doesn't really get pulled either way.
I'd say there's about 3% of a good idea in this movie, and then 97% is shit. So there you go. That's the fucking movie. I'm embarrassed at how little there is to talk about, because I'm sure someone out there is like listening to this and is like the one fucking fan of this movie, and they're like, "Why aren't you talking about this? Or why aren't you talking?" Fuck you.
You know what? I still admire it because it's
I don't.
a very distinct movie. Like, you're never gonna see another movie like Alien Resurrection in your life, thankfully.
No, I will.
You think so?
This felt incredibly generic. Like it honestly, it has all the staples of a franchise that's run out of steam. I mean, it's like on its last legs. It's trying to hit beats it doesn't really understand. It's called Alien Resurrection, for Christ's sakes. I mean, like, that's every franchise. When you get to Resurrection, you're like, all right, we're done. Just, fuck this. It's there's nothing redeeming in this film. Almost nothing. I mean,
I like your idea about the clones and the baby taking up the majority of the movie, because then you could do something interesting. Like, because they've already addressed the android stuff in all the movies, and then with the cloning, you get another idea about what it means to be human, and then the half baby, half alien, half other alien thing. Just mix it up, change it up a bit, but
yeah, and have the twist at the end be that there's multiple Ripleys.
Boom. Then Alien 5. There you go.
Yeah, and the fucking Alien 5, it's like an army of Ripleys.
It's so stupid.
That's what they did in the fucking Resident Evil films.
Oh, fuck yeah, but that was great.
Which, now that I think about it, like, when I'm saying that this movie, that there's, like, we will see another one of these again, just wait for the next Resident Evil film.
No,
it's gonna look a lot. It's gonna look a lot like Alien Resurrection.
No, they finished them.
Oh no, they're gonna make another.
You think so?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. The last 3 have been the last ones.
No, this one's the final chapter. Also, the box office returns in America weren't good enough to get a sequel. So.
Yeah, but did it do well in China?
I think so.
Because they're like huge over there. If that's it, maybe we'll just make it in China next time. But there will be another one.
I like the last Resident Evil. Anyways,
fuck Hollywood.
Matt, would you recommend Alien Resurrection?
I recommend killing your friend if they say they like Alien Resurrection.
Are you gonna kill Sean?
Fuck yeah. Yeah, but that's for other reasons. That's just been coming for a long time.
Final thoughts on Alien Resurrection. You have a gun to your head. You got to say something.
Alien Resurrection is piss. That's it. Kill me so I don't have to think about it anymore.
Okay, this was a short episode, Matt. Where can the people find you? Fuck, this movie broke my brain.
I'm at Emperor OTN on Twitter, and there's a show called Gringo Fuck Yourself, which is dead, but it's on SoundCloud if you want to hear some of the episodes.
You can find me on Twitter at Diego Waffles, President Diego.
Stay tuned for Gringo Fuck Yourself Resurrection.
You're gonna clone fucking Sean?
Yes. And just so he can be free to fucking do the episodes. And every time Sean gets fed up with fucking me making fun of him, then I just clone another Sean.
You just be killing a bunch of Seans.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. If you didn't like, subscribe anyways, because you might find something you do like. We have been professionally unprofessional, and here comes Prometheus.
I thought you were dead.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Fuck all you.